Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name's Andy, Commander TFW, and I'm joined this week, as ever, by Mr. Kipling's lovely little sweaty cake himself. It's Mikey G. Wolf V3. Hello, Mikey.
You really need to start cleaning your desk.
Oh, I do. It's true. I actually had one for dinner,
it's getting bad when you're just like, Kipling everywhere.
No, not everywhere. It's just luckily the cake is gone. It's just the packaging for the Mr. Kipling cake. If I lift up the plastic, I can smell it still and go, ooh, so moist.
Mm.
Have you had a Mr. Kipling's before?
I have, yeah.
Oh, they're deceptively moist. I do like them. I do like a Mr. Kipling's. Never met him though. Don't know what he's like.
Don't know, it could be like, maybe it's like when you play that dating game with Colonel Sanders.
Except with Mr. Kipling.
Yeah, you know, the really sexy Colonel Sanders they've got for that.
I hear there's no way to woo him. He will always choose the chicken.
Yeah, no, he's a fucking tease, but, like, that man looks good. Like,
I've heard there's been many a lad and lady disappointed by that, the lack of winning over the Sanders.
They were expecting to just eat the skin, but they never got the chance.
Oh, there's something sexual in that saying, isn't there? To eat the skin. But hey guys, we're here to talk today about Transformers, as we usually do. And there's one story that, in theory, there's one story that we briefly covered last week, and we were like, oh, what's it going to be? And then the show went up, and then the story came out. I was like, oh, of course. And that was the Generations Select Volcanicus. It seems to happen every now and again, but I always get annoyed when I'm doing the editing and I see the story go up, especially when, you know, like we're speculating on something, and then it turns out to be something just really boring in the end. Like, my hopes and dreams go down the toilet so quickly. But never mind. Shall we get on with some news, Mikey?
Yes.
Right, then let me start off with the Utopia upgrade kit, or a Utopia upgrade kit. It's the 115 Utopia YYW-09 upgrade kit. It's a bit of a mouthful. For the Studio Series SS-61 Sentinel Prime. So it is a set that contains one shield, one dual-wield sword, one cannon, two leg fillers, and two ankle pieces. So obviously this is for the Studio Series Sentinel Prime figure to kind of, I guess, give him better weapons. Because I'm sure he did come with some, but these probably look a little bit fancier and a little bit nicer. I'm going to assume he didn't come with a shield.
Probably.
Yeah,
or
be wrong,
at least not one look like that. I mean, let's be honest. Studio Series, I don't remember everything that came out, and I certainly wouldn't remember poor old Sentinel.
No, that's true. I think we can see what his original swords look like, because if you scroll along to there's like 3 pictures of swords. There's the swords combined together. Then there's a sword with a flat bit. Is the flat bit attached to the bottom like his other sword, like the sword he originally came with?
Maybe.
I'm gonna assume it might be, or no. No, maybe it is. I think those are the swords he originally came with. If that's the case, yeah, I can see why you might want these, because these swords are a lot better than the other ones, which look more like just sheets of metal, I guess. Mikey, what do you think of upgrading the old poor Leonard Nimoy before he got his brains blown out over the floor? Sentinel Prime, not Leonard Nimoy, obviously.
Yeah, well, I mean, when Leonard Nimoy died, it was very suspicious. But,
Just Prime all along.
It was Prime all along. It was Peter Cullen.
Exactly, conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but yeah, this is fine. If you're into these kind of kits, I think it's probably a decent buy. I'm all for extra options for figures and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a Studio Series figure, and it's like one I keep forgetting they made. So yeah. I can't really say it's one I'm like, doing a backflip over the opportunity to see.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I like one of the comments below is it's weird they didn't do an extra head with damage, like after he's gotten the shit kicked out of him. Like, I want one like after he's had his head blown off.
That's kind of bleak, isn't it?
Like, what's the most memorable thing Sentinel did?
He killed Ironhide.
What's the most memorable thing Sentinel did?
You're saying that? Well, I mean, okay, the fact that he begged for his... Is that what he did or what Prime did to him, though? Because he didn't die... Well, he did die, but he didn't, like, make Prime kill him. He was like, please don't kill me, I'm just an old man. And Prime's like, nah, fuck you, son.
No, but I would still count it, because I don't think him killing Ironhide is memorable.
I'm sure it meant something to someone, or to some people.
Yeah, I bet if you ask most people, they wouldn't remember he's in the movie. Just saying.
Ironhide or Sentinel Prime.
Take your pick.
I think they'd remember Sentinel Prime. I don't. You could, if you wanted to say like they wouldn't remember Ironhide being in that movie, I'd be like, yeah, because for me, Ironhide's most memorable scene in that movie was him dying. I'm sure he was probably in the background of some other shots, but I don't remember it.
I think he punched Optimus's truck mode at one point.
Maybe. Didn't he die from like cosmic rust? And you were like, "Oh, that's a name drop."
No, it wasn't name dropped.
Was it not?
No, it was in like the wider fiction. It's called the cosmic rust cannon or something like that, but it's not mentioned in the film because I think the most memorable thing for Ironhide there is that he was, that movie when everyone dies, their head rolls off.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it must be a thing. The head must roll. Heads must roll. But yeah, there you go. It's an upgrade kit. There's not much in terms of like news on how much it's going to be or anything like that. No. At least no concrete information. So we can just tell you the things. If you like your Sentinel, upgrade him with this stuff. Yeah, I'm guessing his cannon is the Cosmic Rust cannon, which is what you mentioned before.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm making assumptions here. You mentioned the Cosmic Cannon. He comes with a cannon. I'm going to just link those two.
I wouldn't recognize it.
Well, nor I, to be honest. But Mikey, take us away with the next bit of news.
So Planet X have a bit of news coming out. They are doing a new Fall of Cybertron figure. It's been a little while since they've done one of these.
When was the last one? Do you remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it might be either the Megatron or the Seekers.
Wow. Okay.
So this is PX22 Ceus. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. So this is a Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron Shockwave, otherwise known as your own personal Steve Blum. So this is a grey prototype. He comes with hands, G1 cannon, Fall of Cybertron cannon form, and blast effects that can be used in both modes. He comes with like the guy in the... So for anyone who doesn't remember, in the game, the arm cannon that Shockwave had was an arm cannon was just a weapon you could get in the game. It's just that Shockwave had it in the promotional stuff. He didn't have it in the actual game. He had two hands because he lost his arm when Grimlock ate it. Yeah. So the very now classic one that's kind of really closely tied to his alt mode is a weapon from the game. So here you get hand options, you get him with that gun, and you get him with a classic G1 arm, so you can swap out the hands for a transparent pistol. The blast effects go on the Fall of Cybertron cannon arm, and I wonder if you can take off the front of that and make it that right Gatling gun.
Was it a Gatling gun? Is that what that one was? I don't think it was. Cause wasn't that more of the shotgun?
Yeah, but you could take it off and it would I don't know if it was literally a Gatling gun, but it rotated and shot bullets.
Okay.
So, but I remember the original Fall of Cybertron toy. That was a feature. But yeah, this is basically that Fall of Cybertron toy beefed out because that toy was from 2012.
Yeah, that was during the dark times, wasn't it?
Do
you remember what else came out around the same time as it?
So many things.
Do you remember the Fall of Cybertron Bruticus?
Yeah. I spent a long time defending that.
Did you? Oh, I don't remember.
Because I had the G2 version, and I wanted to...
Okay.
It was a good purchase. It wasn't a bad purchase. It was a wise purchase. Yeah. One thing I will say, the alt mode here is not holding together very well. I'm hoping that's because of prototype. But this thing looks very, very poseable. It's a really good representation of a really strong Shockwave design. I like the blast effects. It's got some transparent pieces that look like, I'm hoping they're done like a smoky plastic. So, so they come across really well. The fingers look articulated. All in all, I like this. I want to see how it works and how it transforms, but I'm definitely interested. What about you, Andy?
I do think it looks interesting. I think it's trying to do quite a bit for what he turned into, which was, a kind of jet space thing. It was never quite clear what he was trying to go for.
I always called it a space sled.
I could see that. That's fair. But it's a decent representation, and it's going to be a lot better than the official Hasbro version. It's also had a few years on it as well. And it seems like, I wonder if third parties are going to move over to doing blast effects as well, or if this is a one-off, because this is the first time, as far as I'm aware, that Planet X has at least incorporated a blast effect. And will this gun be able...
I'm trying to remember if they had some for the Seeker.
I don't think so.
They might have for the boots?
Maybe. I don't remember. I wonder if you'll be able to take this gun and give it to other people as well, since, like you said, it's meant to be the gun from the game, so, that was usable by anyone. Yeah. Or everyone, I should say. But yeah, looks decent.
In that case, take us on.
Sure. Toy World. Show off the Toy World Commander of Tactical Operations, which is a Bumblebee movie Nemesis Prime. So it's we've seen this stuff before. It's an impressive TW-F09 Freedom Leader, which I think is what the original version was called. And he has some weapons, accessories, extra parts, all packed with die-cast, movie-accurate design, and a great finish, apparently. So, obviously, I don't remember what the main difference is here between the accessories of the original version and this one are, but it does seem to come with a lot. He seems to come with 2 axes which can form a shield, which is pretty neat. Excuse me. The red energy effects that can form the axe blades or the shield sides can be swapped out for purple energy. He has 2 guns. There is 2 blast effects parts for them. One is a red one is a blue one. He has 4 heads in total. He has 6 wheels, 6 extra wheels, or at least rubber tires, I assume. And he's got a few other parts on him as well. I think that it looks like the shoulder stacks might be replaceable in some form or another. And then we have him in a few poses and whatnot, and in his robot mode. What do you think of it, Mikey? Do you like this Nemesis Prime Bumblebee?
It's in many ways it's a standard Nemesis, but I will say I like the level of options with this guy. I would like a clearer view of what's going on with the heads. I think some of them have a sharper faceplate.
Well, I think one of them will have a purple LED in it, and one of them has a red LED. Yeah, at the very least. Maybe the other ones are just non-LED related.
Yeah, but I'm having scrolled through, like, one of the purple-eyed ones seemed to have a rounder face. And one seems to have
I see what you're saying.
Sharper faceplate. I'm just wondering what the story is, really. I like the accessories. I like the shield. I like the shield has options to it. Yes. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to how you feel about the figure that we got. I heard Toy World did a good job with it, and people do like that Optimus design a lot. So not unwise to do a Nemesis version, because it was basically you do that, Magnus or Shattered Glass nowadays.
Yeah, pretty much.
So no, I mean, I think as long as this isn't priced too crazily or isn't like much higher than the original, I think this is a good package, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems like you get bang for your buck at the very least for the amount of accessories and stuff, I guess. Yeah, I would agree there.
And it doesn't have that masterpiece vibe where I feel like none of these are needed, you know?
Yeah.
These feel like they add to the figure. No, I quite like him, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's neat. Again, obviously not my aesthetic, but he does look good as a Nemesis Bumblebee. I think maybe because he's a Nemesis version, it makes the more bitty movie look to him work a bit more, just because the more bitty nature of him and the heavier detail, I don't know, adds a bit more evil, I guess, to the design. He's not smooth hero. He's a janky boy and angry about it.
No, he's definitely not smooth.
No, yeah, he's got rivets everywhere and other bits. Mikey, you want to take us on?
Yeah, we're into the Japanese news, and Takara Tomy have announced a weird toy. At least it's weird to me. So Diaclone came back a few years ago as a series of standalone figures, some vaguely based on the original Diaclone figures, some not really. They've been plowing away on their own. They've got a wide range of little figures, and some are kits and some are small little peoples, and they seem to be doing fairly well. And they've announced the DA65 Battle Convoy VMAX. And this is a redo of the original Diaclone Convoy. And if you don't know who that is, where the feck have you been for the last... so many years. Because that is, of course, a redo of the original Convoy toy that became Optimus Prime. So this is... the robot mode has lots of callbacks to the Convoy mode, but very much does not have a traditional, for want of a better term, Optimus silhouette, would be how I'd put it.
It has some Optimus vibes to it, though.
The head's got elements of it, the wheels and the legs, but the chest is very different, and sort of the proportions are different. And he turns into he turns into kind of a space truck, or a space a helicopter pad, because he's made up of two vehicles. He's like a moon buggy and a helicopter and like the moon buggy, the helicopter lands on the moon buggy. And it comes with a trailer because, of course, and that trailer, like the helicopter can fuse to the front of it, and there's lots of little pull-out bits for like tiny people with bikes and tiny places to put little Diaclone men and stuff like that. There's like I don't know if these are included in it, but the actual bay of the trailer can serve as either a repair bay or like you can add in parts to make it a sort of command center for the Diaclone figures.
Do you see, maybe I don't know, Mikey, if you're gonna do a trailer, have it do something like this.
No, it just needs to open up.
And have one little thing that pops up, and that's it. But nothing else. This has loads to it.
Oh yeah,
at least the trailer.
And it like at the very least, like there's a lot of interactivity with the other Diaclone figures. In fact, these figures are modular, so you can swap out arms and legs and different parts. And they show him next to the other two main ones. I believe the jet one, the one with the big jet wings, was the first one announced.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, this line seems to be doing fairly well. I mean, as far as I know, these are all technically combiner figures as well. But yeah, I like this quite a bit. I think it's a neat aesthetic. I think I'd laugh my ass off if we saw one in black and teal. But I saw some weird reactions, though.
Oh, really? Why?
Well, I when people saw this initially, I saw a lot of talk about, another weird third-party thing that's going too far.
No.
Yeah, and then I saw people like just saying they hated the silhouette and everything else, and I'm just like, it's not Optimus.
I can see why at a cursory glance people might think it's a third-party thing, because if they didn't know about the Diaclone line for Japan, then you could easily assume it's maybe a third-party thing.
A bit fans projecting.
Yeah, definitely, because there have been third-party companies that have had not one-to-one styles like this, but similar-ish. Like you said, Fans Project kind of started going down this kind of route
before it died.
Before it died, yes.
But yeah, I'm into this. What's your thoughts?
Aesthetically, I'm not into it at all. The visual aesthetics don't really do it for me. This Prime one, we'll just call it for simplicity's sake, is a bit more my style than the Jet one. Because I really don't like the Jet. There's just something about it that just doesn't do it for me. This has a bit more going for it. I think the trailer is great. The fact that it's a little command base, and you can set it up to look like a hangar room, a hangar area for like extra vehicles, and you can turn it into a command station or a storage area. I think that's really neat. That's really impressive. I actually really like the shot of it full of the little Micromen in there. And it's just got a few of the really tiny vehicles in there as well. That looks great. There's a lot of playability and interaction here.
Yeah.
The vehicle modes are... okay.
I kind of like the one where you stick the copter onto the trailer.
It's also, kind of endearing in a really ugly way.
Yeah, and it also like suddenly that means the moon buggy kind of turns into a roller.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's bizarre. Like I say, not for me, but yeah, it's very interesting. It's very good looking product. But these are very expensive as well, from what I remember, aren't they?
Yes, they're not cheap. I don't know.
They're like £200 or something. I'm sure.
I'm just okay. Big Bad has him up. What are they asking for?
This one specifically.
Kapow Toys Kapow Toys is asking for $279.95.
Okay, yeah, I thought they would be expensive.
Yeah, so not cheap, not an impulse buy,
but also they are like a collector's item rather than even for Japan, like they're a collector's item rather than a go out for the kids kind of deal. Which makes sense.
Yeah, very much so. These are like this is basically the equivalent to card given the Goa kind of a Solar Chigoken thing.
I was actually going to suggest, like, how close are they comparably in terms of quality? I'd be interested in knowing.
I know they have a lot of metal.
Oh, really? Okay.
But, metal does not necessarily mean quality.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good point. Anything else on this?
No, I'm good.
Right. Mikey, the bit of news that we kind of covered last week but didn't get the full reveal of until Monday was the fact that the Takara Tomy Generations Select figure was revealed, and it's just Volcanicus.
Dino King.
It's just
Dino
Volcanicus.
King. No. Dino King?
No. Well, he is a king of dinosaurs, I suppose.
Dino King.
No, it's just Volcanicus. Minor differences, there are some, as Yoda might say. But it still looks like it's the same beast and will suffer the same proportional issues in Volcanicus mode.
Has more, actually, because it's coming with the new bits it's got 2 Fall of Cybertron swords.
Where are those from?
They're new.
Oh, they're completely new, okay.
They're new. And a new gun for Grimlock that splits up and becomes like these sort of piston cannons on Volcanicus's chest.
I didn't even notice them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
that's weird.
It comes with the hands and feet from Piranacon. Or God Neptune, I suppose. Not God Neptune. King Poseidon. But it doesn't come with the hands, the old combiner hands, which means you can't buff up the sides.
Oh.
So he's skinny-waisted. This is Volcanicus after he decided to become one of them runway models.
His waist is like he's got an hourglass figure.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the basic idea of this is put him in nicer colored, shinier Toon inspired paints.
Yeah, oddly enough, they still keep on the whole translucent heads over the top of the main dinosaur heads and translucent pieces in general.
Really surprised those aren't painted over.
Same. I thought they would have just either molded them out or not even bothered with them, but maybe it was just too much. Or
I mean,
maybe it's a mandate from Hasbro. Don't.
Well, I know for a fact that they'd have to keep them because a lot of the actual shape of the head is from those. So they'd have to repaint them or do them in new plastic. But I'm a little surprised they didn't swap them out or redo them rather. But yeah. So there's your blue swoop. So
did we not get that?
We did. I'm just being sardonic. Remember, Red Swoop was a Generation Select.
That's right. Yeah, I remember there was a Red Swoop, and I was like, I'm sure we got Blue Swoop. But yeah, the color changes are minor. They're kind of just more saturated. I'd say they're brighter. So yeah, it's good for the Japanese and for the people in the East. Not really worth it, I'd say, for the people overseas here in the West. But if you want to, I mean, it's another way to get them, I guess.
Yeah, expensive for not exact. Like, I gave up trying to buy all of them because of the quality of the toys, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Because I've still got Grimlock, and I sold Swoop and Slag. And I gave up, like, Sludge and Snarl, I saw them like 6 times, and I could never talk myself into buying them because, honestly, the Dinobots weren't great toys.
No, these ones might be better in terms of their hand feel because it's been made later on, but that's a bit of a gamble to just roll it on. It might be better.
I kept one because it's part of my Grimlock shelf.
Sure, yeah,
and it ain't gonna. Yeah, it's weird. And it's weird, and it's also like all the figures are so compromised for Volcanicus.
Unfortunately,
and poor old Volcanicus really feels like a first draft.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, it feels like someone said, okay, we'll do this, and they forgot to update the CAD model when they came up with new ideas.
Don't you wish they'd just gone, hey, I know we're doing Power of the Primes at the moment, but how about we just hang on to this for like 3-4 years and maybe put them in the Earthrise line instead?
Oh, no, they wouldn't, because then they'd said, like, no Volcanicus for you then.
Yeah, but that's...
Because it's not G1, like Andy. It needs to be G1.
Yeah, but because that's why it'd be good.
Unless
because
it's Kingdom.
He wouldn't be Volcanicus then, because he'd just be the Dinobots then.
Yeah, but what if you wanted Volcanicus? What if out of the ether you were sitting there wishing for the official Dinobot combiner that wasn't the Beast?
See, I was going to say, people who were wanting Volcanicus are probably the people that would want the Beast.
One other thing, the swords can store on his back, which is where that silhouette came from.
It's kind of nice, but...
Yeah. That said, not everything comes out of this is negative.
No, I do have a price as well for you. It's going to be 22,000 yen.
Oh, what?
22 comma 000.
22,000 yen. God Neptune's like 15,000.
That's. Have I not read this right? Let me put this in chat because
I haven't seen it.
That's what it is.
That is 22,000 yen.
Okay, good, because you were getting me really concerned. I was just it's not really 100, is it?
That's insane.
It's a lot.
That's a lot
it's
for
a lot,
not much.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Seriously, like God Neptune is converting that to like pounds. God Neptune's like 70 or so pounds cheaper. Depend like in or about. Depending on who you're buying them from, of course. But wow, that's a surprise.
A tad.
But yeah, something came out of this, which is the next chapter in the Generation Selects manga done by Hayato Sakamoto. Which features the return of a character, or I think it features the return of a character I wasn't expecting to see. Then please don't fuck him up. But so last, because I think most of this is set in the past, which make me think that their need to have everything tie into it is going to bite me in the ass. But last time in these comics, Primus said he was getting help from some primitives, and it turns out those primitives were the Dinobots. Star Convoy and Grimlock recognize each other, and Grimlock says, "What you want? Megatron Omega's attacking me," and Star Convoy's like, "What?" Because he's here, and it turns out no, Grimlock is from the future.
Oh my god!
This is future Grimlock from the year 2050, where the original Megatron Omega is now. So this is a period where the second Cybertronian Alliance, which I believe, and I haven't got a lot of confirmation for this, but I believe is the alliance formed by Convoy and Mare Megatron. After Legends. Angolan raw energy is being used. Humanity's boosting its industry. They made their own breed of Transformers called the Selectors, who serve as sort of menial task labor types. And Angolan raw energy is being used to revive people, and to, you see Hook and a few others bringing Wheeljack back to life. Without any memory problems, presumably to explain both Victory and, I think, was he one of the ones who got, like, emasculated by the Megatronia girl?
Probably.
When she was cutting off everyone's combiner ports.
Yeah.
So, despite this piece, the Selectors are, like, they're sentient, and this made me laugh. An orange one, probably the wrong one, is basically trying to create some sort of revolt. Asking Megatron why the Cybertronians are free and independent while the Selectors are a slave race to humans. He wants to throw off the yoke of oppression and wants Megatron's help. He wants to throw up the yoke violently, but Optimus is at Neo Scramble City and is greeted by, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Atari from Kiss Players as an old lady, presumably being less sexual assaulted than she was in her early to mid-20s, where she looked like a 12-year-old and saw stuff that no one should see at any age.
It's true.
Tongues were not meant to do that. But she's
got a little cool armband, though, which says Protect Gaia.
Yeah.
Oh, Project Gaia, sorry.
Project Gaia. But she survived, which is the shock for me.
Yeah.
Because if I'd been her, I'd like throw myself off a Metroplex. But they're both a bit nervous about the fact that Angolma energy comes from Unicron. Old Man Spike meets up with Optimus with Old Man Carly.
Old Man Carly.
They talk about it and the Selectors, and they're interrupted by Hound, who says time warp shenanigans are happening on Dinobot Island. And they realize that the evacuation of Angolma energy must be causing it. And Carly has to call the Dinobots to tell them shit's going down. The Dinobots have a meeting joined by Grimmaster and Slash. For anyone who doesn't remember, Grimmaster is Kakaryu.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So,
at least in the fiction.
Yeah, so Dino King.
No.
He could be reformatted backwards.
I like that Grimlock pets Slash in her Raptor mode.
Oh, Slash is completely fangirling. Slash is like, oh my god, I love you. You're amazing. Sign my head. Like, she loves the Dinobots. But from the time warp, the Alicons and the Quintessons show up and they attack. And then it's like taking the Alicons on the Dinobots. How well do you think that's going to go? And when the Alicons are being overpowered, the Quintessons bring in their backup, their own primitive warriors. And it's the Predacons. And it turns out that Predaking, who comes in and just starts beating on the Dinobots, Predaking was created by the Quintessons and given to the Decepticons. And they were eventually reclaimed by the Quintessons to work on their behalf.
Is that what happened in the G1 cartoon?
No, they appeared out of nowhere.
That's what I thought.
And then they randomly stopped appearing.
Yeah.
The Terrorcons were Quintesson creations, if I remember right. Predaking is trying to crush Grimlock, and Grimmaster combines with his drones and catches the foot, and he's like, thank you for letting me be a Dinobot even though I used to be a Decepticon, and he gets smushed, and Grimlock's like, no! And then he hears a voice from the Oracle, who I'm 99% sure is the Primus in the past, and says Grimlock needs to use Angolma energy to bring forth his heart's strength. And I'm quoting this from the translation, which I feel may have been a tad literal. And Grimlock produces the Magma Blades, which combine with him and his new gun from Wheeljack to form Grimlock Wing Dragon Mode.
Is that what it's called?
Grimlock Wing Dragon Mode.
That's pretty good.
Yep. Yeah. So he uses the swords as wings and cuts off Rampage. And the other Dinobots are like, oh my god. Grimmaster, however, Predaking grabs Slash, and she's like, oh my god, save me, sign my head. But Grimmaster, like, tosses his Energon Matrix to the Dinobots, saying, like, let me combine, you combine, and they combine into Volcanicus, and it turns out Volcanicus is just way the fuck stronger than Predaking. And uses his new chest titty cannons, as I shall be calling them, to blow Predaking apart. The Predacons retreat, and Slash notices the Quintessons have left as well. Spike contacts Volcanicus. He says the Selectors are on a rampage, and Carly has been injured, and Volcanicus splits, and the Dinobots are having none of it, and they're going to fly and try and help her. And then in Neo Scramble City, Prime meets up with Megatron, says, this isn't, the war is over, and he says, like, no, this isn't a war, this is a revolution. And Megatron says what freedom is, and Optimus has to finish off the right of all sentient beings, and Megatron's like, these guys want freedom, why don't they have it? And that's how it ends. Because Optimus doesn't have an answer. Fucking wrong!
Fucking wrong.
The problem is now, I'm afraid Mayor Megatron is going to turn into a Megatron Omega, who is a personality-free void.
Yeah.
For the right reasons by the looks of it, but still. We'll see. Like, Takara is obsessed with having everything tie in. But yeah, like, there's a lot of, like, character cameos and, like, Clouders in there and Xiao Li's in there. It's another fun Sakamoto one.
Yeah, and it's obviously pushing as much product as they can for what's coming out, like the Alicon, like the Quintesson. Oddly enough, the Alicon is coloured in the American version rather than the light teal. Not light teal, so the light pink. that the Japanese one is for some reason coming out as.
Yeah, no.
So that's interesting in itself.
Maybe I'll get more than one. But I just we finally have an explanation as to why the micro fellas from Siege look like roads. Because they were.
Yeah, which is what we suggested as a joke.
Yeah,
their nightmare was living as roads.
Yep, and it turns out nope, there's more truth to that than you'd like.
What do you think of the one scene where Prime is having a juice or a drink with Spike, and one of the road guys has a little heart next to his head, giving Prime an Energon cube? That's interesting.
I love you.
Please save us and give us freedom.
By looks of it, everything around him, including the table, is made out of them.
Yeah, the table. Yeah, the fact that the table's them is really off-putting.
And I think the chairs are as well. Which means Optimus is just sitting on one, which is like, I'm getting a weird vibe of Scarlet from Final Fantasy VII Remake, where she's basically sitting on a pile of Shinra soldiers.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's where the heart's from. Sit on me, Prime! I'll be your footstool! But yeah, wrong. Everything is wrong's fault.
Again.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, wrong is revolutionary. Okay. Real fun art though.
Oh, it's ever, yeah. I always like seeing his Sakamoto's artwork. It's always a lot of fun, especially to see the newer toys done in this style.
Yeah, very, very fun, very fun. Yeah, that's it, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Shall I take us on, Mikey?
Let's do.
So, a leak, I suppose, one of those filthy leaks that I didn't see many people complain about.
Filthy!
Was the fact that Transformers Prime 10th anniversary is getting a little gift set, a little box. The Warp Breakdown and Viacon 2-pack. There's only an image of the outside of the box. We have, as far as I'm aware, still no idea what's going to be in it, apart from a version of Breakdown and a version of a Viacon. As I said, there's no things there. One of the images confirms the name, but it also indicates that they are 2 deluxe figures. So I think people are assuming it's going to be the Breakdown from the Starscream, the Grand Galvatron combiner.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked.
No, I'd be disappointed because it would have been a pretty good way to get, the one mold that didn't get released, outside of Japan over and get some kind of release. That would have been nice.
But on the other hand, I do like that Breakdown, so I would like that Breakdown.
Sure, but I'd like that, Grand Galvatron set with the other guys. I'd
also like more money to buy
that too. That'd be fair. The Viacon, I guess,
two big things I want from that line: Grand Galvatron and Megatronia.
It's true. Same. We don't know what Viacon it is. It could be one of the standard ones from the RID line. It could be one of the Jet Viacons, because there were a few of them, or it could be the first edition Viacon, or it might be something new. It might be, maybe it'll be a Combiner Wars rendition of one.
If you want to redo a modern toy into a Viacon, I've got no objections. I mean, I wouldn't mind the original Viacon because I think the RID one's a great toy. But I wouldn't really want the first edition Viacon because he has more problem. Like, he's unusual. He's like the opposite problem a lot of the toy lines had at that time. Like,
yes, he was too complex.
Yeah. Like, I always wanted the version of that because there was an upgrade kit to turn into Barricade at the time, but
that's right.
That became far too hard to get, and I'm just like, nah, can't care.
To be fair, a lot of that first edition became very difficult to get. I would have liked to have completed it just out of, because it wasn't a big line and I got most of it, but never mind. There you go. A 10th anniversary set. Don't know what it's going to be. I'm guessing we'll have maybe some kind of reveal around the 25th, 26th, whenever that Hasbro Pulse event's going on. Maybe Hasbro we'll get a hint then.
Pulse.
Yeah. I think, or I'd like to believe that we'd get some kind of confirmation of what's in the box then. Since it seems like it's in that kind of box, does it actually say it's Pulse? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't say on the box if it is Pulse, but it's because it's a brown box.
Yeah, it's very likely to be Pulse.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it wasn't. So
and
that's
the fact that if they're doing this, it's not a knockout and a breakdown.
Right? Yeah,
is a little. Even if you don't, even that toy isn't great. Like, you're going to have the married couple.
I'd also be. I'm slightly confused why they chose Breakdown and Aviacon. Like, yeah, it would have made more sense to have Knockout, but why would you have chosen those two anyway? Why not Prime and Megatron or IC and Bulkhead or Bumblebee or Starscream? Why those two?
I'd really like it if they went down like repaint some modern toys into them, like do Kingdom Black Arachnia as their Arachnid.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah,
and then you could grab a car and turn it into Prowl.
I think the problem with that idea is
Knockout.
The problem with that is it's too soon to use that Black Arachnia mold. Unfortunately.
Oh yeah. But hey,
maybe we'll a few more months and it would have been worthwhile. Maybe
we'll get more of these kits. Who knows? I'd be surprised, but
yeah, it's probably. I would assume it's probably a one-off. I would guess.
Maybe we'll get the Unicron. I'd be surprised again.
Yeah. Oh, that wasn't a great figure though either. To
Never
be fair,
handled it.
I mean, it came out at the same time as most of the other stuff. It was the Japanese only one, but it still had issues because of it.
He was a volcano.
He was made of Roccos. Lots of Roccos. I'll take on this next bit of news, and then you can take on the last two, because this one's a quickie. Earthrise Runabout. The redo of Runamuck, but with a new head and an extra gun. He's what I thought he would be. And that's not bad.
Is it wrong? I'm going to ask you, which one is he?
Runabout is the black one, apparently, and Runamuck is the white one. I only know that because the title of the story is Runabout was revealed. That's the only way I know. So Runamuck's the whitey, the white one that was shown. Okay. Coming out soon. I think he's coming out within the next month or so in the UK at least. So there you go. Hey guys, you're going to be able to get both of them.
Yep.
I don't think anyone should be surprised by this. It was kind of obvious. But yeah, there you go. We haven't had official releases of these two in years and years. The last time we got something was a Hasbro online exclusive, whatever that was.
Takara had one.
Yeah, the Takara don't count.
The little tiny ones. Remember those?
Tiny ones. No, from where? What line were they part of?
They redid Combiner Wars or Legends. They redid the little chest fella from Menasor, if I remember right.
Did they do both Runabout and Runamuck from them?
I believe, sir. I will double check, but I believe, sir.
Okay. Fair enough. I can remember. The last ones I remembered were the Hasbro, I think they were called Hasbro Selects, where they with the redo of tracks, the tracks mold into those two, if you remember those. So this is the first time that there's a Western release that's out for everybody if you want to get them. So that's good. That's good. Mikey, do you want to take us on to the last two stories, son? I let you have this next one because, it's the Purple Menace.
Yeah.
It's the Purple Menace to your wallet because you're weak. And I thought to myself, I could be weak too, but then I was like, I don't want the other thing, really.
Yeah. Just for clarification, the Blackjack mold was repainted for the Adventure line as a adventure version of Runabout and Runamuck, which was essentially a G1 version of Runabout and Runamuck.
Okay.
But the purple parasite is here. Shut up. But so we got another Generation Select 2-pack reveal, and this one was greeted. Well, I noticed this one was like from two very different camps. I'll buy the set and you can buy the other one. Where it was announced on the last Transformers Tuesday that they're getting a 2-pack of Shatterglass, Optimus Prime, and Ratchet. So Ratchet is basically, he's got a lot of teal on his joints and he's got a purple head and red eyes.
And a grey face.
And a grey face. And Optimus is the Earthrise Leader Prime without the trailer and everything else. And done in Shatterglass colors with his shattered titty.
Yes.
And I hate Gridman.
Yeah, it's made you weak.
Because now I'm in a weird place where if I get a version of Akane as a toy, I want a Transformer to go with her. And this is basically the most affordable. I don't know if I will buy this. I'm just saying, but this is the most affordable option of getting a G1 style Optimus Prime.
Do you want me to make this set worse for you?
I'm sure you will.
All right, here we go.
I could get the flame toys and just cut out the middleman, but
you get the Ratchet, you throw that aside, you put that in the bin. Nobody
of course, it goes in the bin. It does, it's a toy we don't need. It goes in the bin.
Instead, you grab the Earthrise Starscream,
and
then you paint it into the Action Master colors.
No, it's worse. You get the Earthrise Megatron and repaint it into Shattered Glass colors.
You could do that too, yeah. The problem is, it would just be a white Megatron at that point.
Yeah, but then,
that's
very similar. Then I need to spend a week taking photos of Optimus getting uncomfortably close to Megatron and hugging him at times, and whispering into his ear, "I made you."
I think the real question we need to ask as well is: will anybody make headphones and glasses for this Optimus Prime?
If they don't, they're a failure. To be completely honest, I mean, he doesn't need the headphones.
Dr. Wu,
he has the head, but you need the glasses to go into the head.
It's true.
But I was amused that I saw several people going okay, Shatterglass Optimus has been announced. Why am I being bombarded with pictures of an anime girl? All these
Gridman fans assemble.
All these news stories were just full of pictures of Akane. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
and one guy, someone please explain to me, because this happened last time as well, and I'm just there's an anime full of references to it, and he's just last time I asked this, people just sent me more pictures of this character. No one told me. Thank you.
I think that's even better. It's just what is this? More of it. That's not helping. More.
Would you like a body pillow?
More.
So
what was the consensus? Were people I assume most people were wanting the Prime, but not the Ratchet, right?
Depends. People who'd seen the anime were really into the Optimus. People who hadn't were really sick of seeing the Prime. But
I can see that. That makes sense.
I saw, because the Shatter, and then a lot of people kind of like the Ratchet. But I saw an interesting comment. I think this is very fair. People are talking about the Shattered Glass being overexposed, and you and I have said that a lot in the convention circuit. It's not.
Sure.
But they pointed out these are the first mainline, easy to buy Shattered Glass figures since the Rodimus Unicronus.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Before that was the only other. There are basically in the main line. I can buy it for a reasonable price. There are 3 toys.
I never even considered that, but that's a good point.
And I think it's fair to say, just because you can afford to buy BotCon sets from now until the end of time, please don't assume other people who haven't had a chance to buy these before aren't interested.
You, the theoretical person listening to us right now.
It was actually directed at someone, but I'm not giving names.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, so if you've never had a chance to own a Shattered Glass Optimus but have always wanted one, you now have 2 affordable options. And either your Flame Toys model kit if you're into your kits, or if you want something a bit more traditional, you've got this. And the set is up on places like Tea of Source for about $50.
That's not terrible.
So it's cheaper to buy 2 toys than to get the Earthrise Optimus on his own.
Oh, with the trailer, yeah, that's a good point. That's really sad.
And you know what? I bet Ratchet does a lot more than that trailer.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, like I said, I'm not saying I will buy these, but they are kind of on my radar.
Do you want to split this, Mikey? You keep the Ratchet, I'll get the Prime.
I'll break your legs. So yeah, I have been trying, basically I've been trying to find an affordable version of but I can get the Figma, but I want the Figma with all the gear with it, and
the DX version, which is the expensive one.
Finding that for money is a bitch.
Yeah, and
I also have to get a Gridman to go with it, and I've got to get a Rika, because you can't have a Akane without Rika. You've got to have Rika, and I really need to get the Nendroid Rika as well, because you can't have without Rika. Then I have to get something I got to buy a lot of stuff to do with this one show about a crazy lady who decided to play with a computer program world.
I think Jason has the Akane coming.
Oh no, he was one of the guys I saw. Okay, so is anyone buying this? Because I will go have these.
I'm sure. Yeah,
I will buy Optimus off you. I'm just mad he beat me to it. But hey, if anyone is desperate to get the Ratchet but doesn't want the Optimus, honestly, let me know.
Yeah, I'd be interested as well, to be honest.
Honestly, I might just crack anyway, but try and keep some sense of dignity.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these are, when are these due out? Do we have a release date? There was one here earlier on.
31st of September. Oh no, that's 31 steps for transformation. That's
hang on, I'm just gonna go to the
release date.
I'm gonna go to one of the ads. February 2021. It's estimated TF source.
Okay, so it's still a few months off.
Hang on, what's HobbyLink Japan got it for? Because HobbyLink Japan will probably be a bit more reliable in terms of the date. Also, I'm slightly surprised it's up on HLJ.
So am I, actually.
If HLJ would load! Load. Basically, it's going to be a bit. I don't care anymore. I've given up. I'm angry. I might try and get this and Akane in the same box for Christmas.
Oh no, that'd be expensive. Oh no.
I don't like. It wasn't too bad last time. Like their shipping seems to have gotten a bit more normal. Also, again, surprisingly quick at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got a box from America in 4 days. It takes me 2 weeks to get something from England. Very strange. But yeah, last bit of news story is more of those filthy leaks.
No. You're drinking them in a bit too deep, Mikey.
We're going a bit red light on this.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah.
The famous red light Moonbase 2 district.
Where the only leaks are the ones you make.
That's gross.
Yep. I've been watching Hololive with Matsuri and Coco. I have heard so many weird shit.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So these are leaks of 2 figures and one sort of like promo image, which okay, so they've got their black marker back, right? The one they used to cover everything up,
right?
Like the approach here was to color in the feeties of one figure and to draw random not obscuring lines across the rest, which I find hilarious. But the first one seems to be the first of the Studio Series 86 figures, which in this case seems to be people are saying deluxe class Rodimus, or Hot Rod, and the complaining has already started because they're saying it's in the wrong colors. Now, this is not one where I think the picture is good enough to make a comment on the quality of the figure. I suspect he's got a bit of a backpack. To be honest, he looks a bit like the Masterpiece to me. Like, I don't know, like, just some of his layout. But my thing is, I would be very surprised if those shoulders did anything, because Hot Rod's shoulders never do anything. But, cool. Hey, Andy.
Yes.
Did you know we're making G1 Transformers again?
I might have been aware, but at least it's season 3, so it's interesting designs.
It's not the same 5 guys.
No, I think it does look as better. I mean, from these, questionably terrible images, it looks a better figure than the Titans Return one did.
The Power of the Primes, you mean?
No, I mean, both of them, because remember, he was in Titans Return as well.
Oh, yes, he was. He was a little headmaster man, wasn't he?
Yeah. So he is better than that, and obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, he looks better than the Power of the Primes one. But neither you nor I had anything positive to say about that. The Titans Return one was okay. It had problems, but it was okay.
Yeah, no, and it again, a lot of the problems that come to Hot Rod's design seems to fight budget.
Yeah.
The other one in here, which I think is a bit more interesting, is we get our first image of an unnamed fossilizer from Kingdom. So during the leaks, we saw that several toys were listed under the fossilizer label, and we were kind of curious what they meant. It appears they're the equivalent of the weaponizers. Mm-hmm. So you have what looks like an original character, some sort of spiky skeleton robot that turns into a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton. Which is a choice. And then that comes apart and sticks onto your deluxe figure. Or in this case, it's the Warpat, and it seems to form a pair of grabby arms and a mouth hand. Or a grabber. I like the idea of the core figure. I want to see a better picture of the robot mode, but I always like the idea of posable skeletons. 2... Unless those have more posability than what I'm seeing, which I'm not sure how I feel about like melee versions of the weaponizers.
No, I don't think it looks good on Warpath. Maybe it's one of those things where it will look better on the Beast Wars stuff. More appropriate rather than sticking it on a robot tank, which is obviously a robot tank. Maybe having those kind of more rounded shapes on the Beast Wars stuff will help it blend in better. But on Warpath, it just like aggressively stands out and looks just, at least to my eyes, weird. And again, granted, these are not great images, so maybe it does look better when they're all cleared up and stuff. But yeah, yeah.
What's your thoughts overall apart from that?
It's an interesting idea, like you said, to have. I'm not going to say a range. A range would be too much, but to have like a few figures in this kind of fossilized form could be interesting. I'm a little bit disappointed we don't get more Micromaster Bases because effectively we got two molds in the entire Earthrise line.
Yeah,
and then 2 repaints from that, which isn't a lot. Where you could have done a lot more with it. And it's begging for more customization to build up small cities and whatnot. And now we're just kind of jumping back to the weaponizer gimmick instead. It's an interesting choice, I guess.
I mean, maybe you can pull a GoBots and make a little fossil combiner out of these.
That would be interesting, I guess.
That'd be neat. Like, they're gonna like. It's a bit weird to me. They picked a T-Rex. Just because.
Why the T-Rex? Why is that one weird?
Because they've got one already in the line. In the leader class. So, just having a second one in there feels very... I'm surprised they didn't go with like a raptor or something. Or a Spino.
Ankylosaurus.
I mean, why not?
Get the little fat boys. And
you could have like a shield.
Bump from Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Oh, God, don't get me started on Bump.
Well, hang on. What's your beef with Bump?
I want Toro to eat Bump.
Why don't you like Bump? Because I see people putting up pictures of Bump and be like, he's so kawaii.
He is very kawaii, but apparently, like, Spielberg specifically told Netflix that don't kidify this, make it feel like Jurassic World. Make it feel like Jurassic Park. So
it's clearly a kid's show.
Yeah, but I find, especially when the other dinosaurs, they look stylized, but they don't look chibi.
Right.
So Bump stands out to me. Like, he feels like he's from a different series, visually. So I want the Carno to eat him. There I said it. Or Rexy, she's in it. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, I'm curious about these. I want to see what the other fossilizers are going to be. I know there's at least one more mold, and I think there's one in the lower size classes. And yeah, Kingdom continues to be far more interesting to me than anything in years by the sheer benefit of they're doing something that's not the same 10 characters they've been doing for the last couple of years, even if they're reissuing toys from the last line, you know? Because, hey, even if it is another G1 character who is done in a very G1 style, I'll take Warpath over any of the other lads we've been getting for the last few years. So, yeah. That's kind of it for the news, Andy.
Hey, there's a Jazz coming.
Oh, yes, I forgot that. Jazz is there. It's a picture of the Floro Dairy Jazz model, which has been drawn over because none of us know what that looks like.
And blurred for some reason.
Because who could it be?
And there's a Studio Series leader Grimlock apparently coming as well.
Yes, well...
We don't have an image of that. We just got hey, he's coming.
Which makes me think they've got an image of it, and they're just like, ooh, drama! Fake drama!
Yeah, whoever this leaker is, of course.
As long as he's better than the Power of the Primes, is all I'm going to say.
Well, it's the Studio Series, so, you know.
Which is so weird to me. They're basically on like, hey, you know that Generations line? What if we do it as a second line as well?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for the news, really.
Okay.
Unless you've got something more.
No, I ain't got nothing, son. What you been up to this week, Mikey? What you done for fun? You and your broken bean.
Yeah, me and my arm have been having a lot of lie downs and sleeping a lot of afternoons because I can't get any sleep at night. But hey, I got a box from Hobby Frontline.
It'd be so good to do something. Some
of the toys I pre-ordered back in April, actually. So this is the RX-78 black version, the only version I'll try, which is the one that's supposed to be a bit more real. And the Master Grade Deathside Endless Waltz Ruse Pack thing, which is the base debt side from the novel.
Okay.
Where in the novel all the base forms were redesigned because Endless Waltz is now officially another continuity, I think.
Is it? I thought it was canon.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. Like they also said, like Endless Waltz is the end, but I know there's more Wing novels.
Oh, sorry, you mean Endless Waltz the manga, not Endless Waltz the movie, right?
I don't know. I don't know if the manga and the movie are in the same continuity, or if there's another manga. I don't think they are. Because it's Wing, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Endless Waltz manga is its own thing, but the Endless Waltz movie is canon because it was the actual end of the series. Yeah, I think
it's Wing, man. We come for the pretty. That's all we come for.
It's true. You come for Trace though. Trace is a good character. I like Trace Kushranada. He's really good in that show.
Yeah, he's not in it enough though.
He's really not. And to be fair, Miliardo Zex is the best Char clone.
Oh yeah.
Like again, Miliardo Peacecraft is a really good character. I think the main issue is most of the main characters.
Yeah.
Most of the pilots.
Why did Sandrock walk off?
It doesn't matter. He just did.
I'm super
curious.
Is
this what you want me to do, Epion?
No,
sorry, 0-1.
No, I think Epion got asked once as well.
Probably because they both had the 0-1 system in or whatever it was called.
Are they? I also like. Tangent, but like randomly when I was looking up Gundam stuff a few weeks back, I saw this thing and just like the Zero system makes the Gundams unbeatable. We're just like, no, it doesn't. Not even unbeatable in their own universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't know what the Zero system is, sir.
Yeah, helps them predict the future, but not much else.
Yeah, like it gives them the computer predicted predictions of what's coming about and what's the quickest line to victory as far as the computer is concerned.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell the future. It's a predictive model.
But isn't that what the future is? No.
I don't know. When you're telling me that will let it beat Gao-Gaigar, I'll perhaps...
Oh, fuck. No. Also, like, Gao-Gaigar, I think, is bigger than a Gundam.
Gao-Gaigar is bigger than a Mazinger.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Because Mazingers aren't actually that big.
I didn't know. I thought Mazinger... No, I'm
he's
comparing Mazinger now to a Transformer, and Transformers are relatively small, actually.
Yeah, and then you like this Kaiser and everything else, and different scales for Kaisers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also saw Jobby's Getter review this week, and I was kind of tempted. I've never dug into Getter. But I'm kind of tempted now. I do want those Moe Getter figures, though.
Is that just because Jobby said there are only 5 people who watch Getter, and you're like, I'm gonna be number fucking 6, Jobby.
I will be the 6th man watching
Go
Getter.
Fuck yourself, Jobby.
Fuck you!
I did like the you posted up the Moe Getters, and I was like, oh, they're cute. I like them.
I kind of want. They're too expensive, though.
They're very expensive for what they are, because they don't seem to be much. Are they garage kits? Because they look like it.
No, they're fully licensed.
It's weird because they honestly, with the price that they're at and the way that they look, I was like, oh, it's a garage kit. Must be.
There might be a full size like Moe Getter as well. I'm not sure.
A full sized one.
Yeah, probably.
Does it have boob missiles?
No, that's Mazinger.
It doesn't have the Go-Nagai to it.
Assuming this wasn't a custom because it didn't look like it, it's basically like a shapely version of Getter. Like no breasts, but looks like got hips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hey, classy talk. You come here for classy talk, guys and ladies. You love us. We're very open-minded and equal-minded toward everyone. We're just single and horny.
That's right. Insert Marine going, I'm horny.
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty. I now know the Japanese word for horny as well, which I didn't know before. Mora. Didn't know that. That's new. Yeah. Don't know if I needed to know that, but...
with Marine, you probably do, to be fair.
I also like how the how old is she thing is becoming a lot more aggressive.
I'm 17.
Are you really? With your 80s music. She's going to turn out to be like 50. That's the big secret behind her.
That'd be really impressive.
Would explain her dancing skills. But yes, like I've been sitting on my ass a lot this week, so I did watch a bunch of HoloLive and stuff like that, which was weirdly convenient since the English one was both announced and released within like 3 days of each other.
Is that how quick it was?
It was very quick.
I saw like yesterday they did 2 streams, I think. Or
they did 2 the first day and then they did 2 the next day.
Okay.
No, 3 the next day.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, hang on. That's not all of them.
But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, there's plenty of potential for crazy. We'll just see how crazy it gets.
That's the thing, yeah.
Also, like, I'm not surprised that they've picked people who speak good English, but clearly speak excellent Japanese as well. Or at least very serviceable Japanese.
The Shinigami girl who did the rap, that rap was very good, and I don't like rap.
I don't like rap, but that was...
I think she is a native English speaker and then has learned Japanese because her English is too good.
I would also put her down maybe as the only native English speaker of the bunch.
I would say probably, yeah.
Because the Phoenix one, she's German. She is 100% German.
Ah, okay.
She's so clearly German. But yeah, no, but like seriously, that rap was good, and I hate rap.
Same, yeah.
But quite clever like approach to mixing the 2 languages. But anyway, so apart from that, I have 2 model kits. One is a master grade, which is one of the only grades I haven't tested yet. Which is one of the reasons I wanted it. And now I can't build it. It's just sitting out in my shed.
Well, I mean, you could try and build it, but
really? How? I tried holding I tried holding the PlayStation controller yesterday, and I nearly broke my fingers.
Right, well, what you do is, the nippers, you use your wrong hand to use them.
Oh, good! Nothing bad's ever happened when you do that.
And what you do for, like, cutting it with a knife is you wedge the bit of plastic that you want to cut in between your thighs, and then get the knife in your wrong hand.
But you've got to hold it, like, really high up your thighs so you can get a good grip.
Yeah, well, I was going to say put it close to your knees because you'd get better grip there, but, wherever your grip's hardest, and then just pull the knife towards you. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
With your wrong hand again.
Yeah. Please be safe with knives, kids.
FYI.
So there's that. I ended up watching a lot of Stargate this week.
Oh, SG-1.
Oh,
nice.
Little bit of
from the start.
Kind of pick and choosing, and because that's what the thing. Like Stargate's, you can, if you want to watch the plot episodes, it's so continuity heavy.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to sit there. Like there are whole seasons that are really hard to just sit down and watch.
Yeah.
Because it's got a way different approach to continuity than stuff like Star Trek. So I was watching a lot of the early stuff just because there's a lot of standalone episodes.
Yeah.
But the best approach to clip shows I've ever seen in a series.
Yeah, Stargate was a decent series overall. I didn't like it where right at the end they changed up the cast. I think that's where I kind of went,
it suffered from the show has gone on too long syndrome.
Yeah, they needed to have wrapped it up a bit faster. And then they continued to making extra ones like Atlantis and the really grim dark one, which I never watched.
Oh, it was terrible.
Was it? I didn't think it didn't look like it had the Stargate feel, so I was like,
no, it felt basically it's the discovery of the Star Trek universe.
Oh no, way before Discovery as well.
Like it opens up with like, hey, you know what we got now? Full on sex scene.
I think what they weren't they going for like the Battlestar Galactica feel, the remake. Yeah. And it's like, no, that's not Stargate.
Yeah. Despite the fact Stargate did open with full frontal nudity.
Did it? I don't remember that.
First episode, it got cut out of some subsequent airings. But Children of the Gods, Share, there is a full frontal nude scene.
Oh.
So yeah. Which I didn't realize when I bought the videos back in my early teens. Neither did my mother.
A happy experience for you, not so much your mother.
No, like she asked some questions.
What were the questions? Like, why is that girl naked? Or, oh my god, is that what a naked woman looks like? Yes, mother, that's what a naked woman looks like.
Yes, mother, that's why we don't give you mirrors. You must never know. The secret will be held from you.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, I played it since gaming is obviously a bit difficult, so I actually dug into a couple of visual novels I had. One in particular, which was one I'd heard of, basically through a HoloLive thing.
Are these your lewd ones that you bought?
No, this was one like, basically there was a thing, one of the Miko clips where she's just like, oh god, I've turned on porn. And then she's like, I've got ones that aren't porn. And she said a name of one, and I was just curious, and I was just like, 10 out of 10 rating on Steam, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Marco and the Galaxy Dragon. Very clever. Very, very clever. basic story is girl, piano genius, kidnapped by aliens when she was a small child after her mother's killed, and she forgets most of her life and she's sold as a slave. She ends up meeting a woman who turns out to be a dragon who was born in a black hole, and the idea is basically like, we'll be friends until I'm hungry enough to eat you. And years later, Marco her is the name she's taken. She is basically the equivalent of Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy, except funny. And yeah, she ends up going back to Earth in the middle of kind of a lot of hype to sell a jewel called Lizard Stone, and she gets followed by the daughter of a world-ending cult and usual stuff, and hilarity ensues. It's quite funny. Fun designs, and something I wasn't expecting, which is fully animated cutscenes.
Oh, okay.
Very stylized, very, very stylized cutscenes that are very well done.
Are there a lot of them, or are they like really sparse?
There's not a huge amount, but when they are there, they're lengthy. Like you're looking like, I think one was 5 minutes straight.
Ah, that's not bad.
Right? And they're fun. They're wacky as all hell, but they've got a bit of a Fooly Cooly vibe to them.
Wow. In terms of their art style, or in terms of the
tone,
kind of...
the tone and the execution. The art style kind of reminds me of if you combined Panty and Stocking with Codename Kids Next Door.
Right, that's interesting.
But honestly, I think if you're into visual novels, it's worth a go. I laughed a lot playing it. I'm not done, but I've been laughing a lot, which is no bad thing. I caught up on the Monster Doctor show.
Did it get any better, or is it still just kind of floating at fine?
Still floating at fine, but it's a weird thing. It's mostly a pretty tame show, right? Mm-hmm. Except like every episode or every couple of episodes, there's just this weird hypersexual moment of this examination where he's having no respect for boundaries, or two people saying like, hey, no one's watching, blah, blah. And that feels really out of place.
Okay.
Like, it feels like they were originally conceived with this in the show, but the show didn't really feel structured for them. So they feel way more take you out of the moment than stuff like Monster Musume, where it's just like it's ingrained in the bloody DNA.
Right.
Or any kind of show where fan service is a thing. These don't feel natural. Which is like, that's something I never like in any series, where you have tonal shifts that don't feel like they tie in.
Right.
And it's weird. It's weird to me. But no, it's a likable show. It's a time eater, but it's a likable show. I was having a look through the catalog for this season, since I missed most of it because of just life and stuff like that. And the only other show in there that looks interesting is Decadence.
Have you not been tempted by the trash fire that looks that is Peter Grill to Kenji no Jikan?
No, I've read the manga. Years ago.
Oh, have you? Okay, so you know what it's about.
I didn't know what it was about when I was reading the manga at first, and I read. Basically, it's guy not fighting very hard to cheat on his wife. His wife basically showing up and trying to kill the people trying to have sex with him.
Yes, that seems to be what it is. I saw someone do a review on the first episode, and I was like, "What is this show?" Not
very funny was my impression of the manga, because it's trying for comedy, but it's just not particularly funny.
Yeah.
And it leans a bit too much into making him a creep. With those kind of things, you need to balance the idea that, he's a decent guy and blah, blah, blah. Because that's how you get away with that crap. This feels a little bit too like, it's going to be the story of a serial cheater who gets caught a lot. And that's just being a scumbag. So, unless that's the joke. I didn't get far enough into the manga, and I read that one you mentioned before. I was reading the manga for that a few years ago, and that was very average.
The which one, sorry?
I don't feel the need to go into the one about the senpai kohai thing, where one's in university and pay attention to me, and he's working in a cafe, I think.
Oh, I think I know which one. Yeah.
Yeah. Uzaki, is it?
Oh, Uzaki. Uzaki-chan. Yeah, that one's fine. Yeah, it's nothing amazing.
Yeah, because I'm familiar with manga, and I'm just like, nah. I didn't particularly... I stopped reading the manga after 10 chapters. I'm not really going to bother with the show. And the rest, there's a lot of... there's a few things I might try after I get Decadence at least a go, but nothing leaping out to me. Except for one thing. I am now up to date on ReZero Season 2 Part 1.
Yay! I watched episode, what was it, 35 today?
Yeah, because they are 36 want to do, and they are taking a break for a core after 13, and then they're coming back. And also, I found out that there are currently 6. We're in the 4th arc. There are 6 arcs in the books at the moment.
Oh no!
And he might have scripted for 11, or at least up to at least 11. But from what I can see, the 11 quote is from an older interview, so I don't know if plans have changed on that. But regardless, I'm not really worried if it goes on longer, because the story is really, 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 really good.
Yeah, this was my concern because I mentioned it in a Skype call yesterday. My concern mainly is how long is it going to take until we get season 3 of the anime? I know season 2 isn't even done yet, but is it going to be like between season 1 and 5? Between 1 and 2, it was like 5 years. It was a long time. It was a big gap between season 1 and 2.
But I'm hoping that they'll be because with Shield Hero, they've already announced 2 new seasons.
Yeah, but they already had quite a few. They've got quite a few stories to work from there with ReZero. If you say he's only up to what was it, 5 or 6?
Arc 6, and then there's the If chapters, which are different outcomes for different loops.
Yeah, that means we're very close to catching up to the main stuff then.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I'm hoping they don't pull a One Piece and drag the story out too long, but
you don't.
To be honest, I find this story fascinating.
It's really good.
It is unapologetic if you don't remember stuff, though. This is not. There is no intro into the previous season. If you want an intro, I'm watching on Crunchyroll. Go watch the rest on Crunchyroll first. Like, this is very much an arc, an ongoing story. And I think they're very wise not to have any significant deaths until about halfway through the run of episodes. Anyway, they've got 1, but that's only to set up the arc with Rem.
Yes,
but I think it was very wise because that gives you time to settle back in, so that the horror starts creeping back in.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a slow start to the series, but it doesn't kick off as hard as you maybe would have thought it would do. Or at least I thought it would kick off harder.
It's not kicking off as a season 2.
No.
It's kicking off as, okay, the story is ongoing. This is what happened. Yeah. This is the next episode. I won't spoil stuff with Rem, just like I want to murder Gluttony in a very violent way. This looks like it's going to give Amelia a lot more to work with, which I'm very glad. I don't dislike Amelia. I never did. She's just not Rem.
Pretty much.
But yeah, like, they've removed one of her comfort zones with Puck. I think that's really good. They're putting her in a difficult situation, and they're giving Subaru very few outs in that situation, which I think is good. I'm liking all the characters that have been introduced. I think they're interesting. I think their core concepts are interesting. Very surprised to see a certain villain from early on in the series return. Was not expecting to see them again. Yeah.
They've introduced quite a few interesting characters, shall we say.
Yes.
Especially within the last 2 episodes. They've introduced some very interesting characters.
Yes. Also, the current run of, like, Subaru's going to make really good friends with this person who has murdered them before. In brutal ways. Also, don't trust Pecora. Pecora is evil. She's in this. And, like I said, why was there not a meme of like something going Peko Peko, or like, it's Pecora? Ooh, Jesus Christ. Like, when they get to the death, one is the most brutal one that's been in the show.
I'm trying to think which one, because there's quite a few, and there's quite a few like unpleasant ways to go.
There's a bit where you can see stuff moving under his chest.
Yeah.
And I was really like, oh god, this is giving me Made in Abyss. Hurry up. But yeah, also, like, the key thing here is Subaru. Like, Subaru is a very fascinating approach to basically commenting on many negative elements, both of nerddom and of being a person, and the psychological effects and the psychological damage we put on ourselves. The first season spent a lot of time in what I'd actually call, like, the toxic side of nerd culture, because at times Subaru was the voice of that. Like, he would say things that you would see on a message board.
Yeah.
And he paid for it. And he grew and became an actual fucking functional person to a point. But here we basically see the core of what happened to him. Like, why Subaru was the way he was. Because I always assumed he kind of lived on his own.
Yeah.
And the revelation of what was actually going on with him. Again, kind of... The thing about Subaru is that he's very real in what troubles him and what sets him up, which means these are things that, whether you're a man, a woman, a social butterfly, or a shut-in, something about him will speak to you. In a powerful way, I think. I think it was really good. It also, like, very clear that the front is becoming so much more of a front.
Yeah.
And he is... I don't know if you're saying he's... I think the point is that he is strong enough to hold on, but whenever the walls get a chance to come down, because he doesn't get to put them down.
No.
Like, what happens to him happens, the trauma is experienced, and then he has to pretend that everything's normal. And that, you know, especially, like, he's becoming way more willing to test the whole reset thing.
Yeah.
Before, like, he'd always try a plan, carry that plan as far as it would go, and shit, I'm dead. Now, he's willing to kill himself. He's willing to put himself in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's, like, horrific, and he doesn't want to, but he's definitely more willing to. I'm assuming the psychological effect of all this is going to be an ongoing plot. But yeah, there's good action in this. The animation's very solid, very, very solid. Subaru, for the love of God, find a new jacket. Like,
just clothes. How long has he been wearing those clothes? Well, maybe not that long, but because he's repeated the cycle so much, it just seems like he's been wearing them longer.
Even our wonderful boy from Konosuba did change clothes.
He did.
Not
but
often.
That isn't. I'm pretty sure that's because Aqua burnt it.
I think he got him back in the end, didn't he?
I think he got them back, but out in the world, he wears the normal stuff. Well, for that world.
Yeah. But yeah. No, I can't really recommend ReZero enough. I'm very curious to see if they're going to get all the plots wrapped up in time for the break. Because there's 3 big ones.
Yeah.
One which was introduced relatively late. So I'm very, very curious. Also, for anyone who doesn't remember Beatrice or Biako Betty from the start of the series, she is being given a lot more, and I'm very interested.
Yeah, it doesn't hold your hand with a lot of the stuff either. It will sometimes just kind of tell you offhand, and then you need to try and work out what it's trying to say. It doesn't outright say, this is what the character's doing and why. You kind of got to go, oh, okay. Okay, I think I get it.
Yeah, but if you like the first part, and I think calling it the first part is very accurate, you will probably really like this.
I'd say so.
And if you haven't watched ReZero,
you should.
You should.
Yeah.
It's very easy to watch right now. But yeah. ReZero. It is a good show.
Yes.
And I would recommend it. Last, I might as well mention it here. Saber, watch episode 2 of Kamen Rider Saber.
I watched episode 1 today.
I searched this today because I was very curious. A lot of people, including me, are asking why this feels like a Super Sentai show.
Yeah, I'll mention it because, you brought it up and whatnot. You did obviously mention it had Sentai feels last week, and as I was watching episode 1 today, I was like, I think I obviously I was influenced by those words, but I think even if you hadn't have said that, I still would have felt like, yowie wowie, this is very Sentai feely. Very, it's like aggressively Sentai, even more so than like Forze, which I would say was before this show was the next Sentai feeling Kamen Rider show, or the closest thing that I'd call feeling like that. This is aggressive.
It's bloody mood whiplash after 01.
Yeah.
So I'll mention it in a minute, but yeah, episode 2, the scenario has been set up.
Okay.
In that very Sentai way. No one's character is really developed.
Oh no.
And they're like, there's a lot of CGI and a lot of what I'm assuming might be stock footage.
I want to know how much CG they're going to use in the future. Are they going to use it all the time?
they can't keep it up. The budget wouldn't survive.
That's what I was thinking.
There's a guide character who feels like one of those princesses that keep showing up in Sentai. the locations and everything else.
Is the guy also, the weird dude with the mustache at the start?
No, it is a princess who I'm putting money on is the girl from the start. Like, this is not a spoiler, but there's a girl in the start of the show, and I'm just betting this is her grown up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and also, this is a weird thing to say, very long fight scene for a Rider show.
In a good way?
In a Sentai way. Like, Sentai tends to have about half the episode being action.
It's true. Yeah.
Rider doesn't. Riders tends to have maybe 6 minutes of action per episode.
Out of interest, and it could be considered a spoiler, but I'm interested. Does the monster grow in this episode?
No.
Okay.
I was kind of expecting it to, I'll be honest, but it doesn't.
Okay, well that's something at least, because as soon as episode 1 the monster grew, I was like, guys, come on.
But yeah, we meet the secondary rider and Kamen Rider Blades.
Blades. I get it, saber, blades, but that's real close to Kamen Rider Blade.
Yeah,
right?
Sure wish there were more words for pointy objects like Kamen Rider Rapier.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Or Claymore. Call him Claymore.
Ah, Kuremo.
Or call him something. Call him something else.
Yeah, not a Kamen Rider who already exists, but with a very slight difference to it. Maybe don't do that.
Kamen Rider O's with a question mark.
Kamen Rider Crowbar. That'd be great.
And yeah, his character, such as it is laid out. And yeah, the acting so far hasn't been great. We'll see how it goes. Like, you're early on in any Rider show. Like, unless it's one of the exceptional ones, you're early on. But looking into all the production stuff is making me nervous.
Yeah, I saw you post some things today and I went, oh no. No.
So this is what I found out. So the director has worked on a couple of episodes of Wizard, but he's pretty new to Togu overall.
Right.
I believe though he worked on Go Buster. Right.
Okay, Go Buster was fairly decent for a Rider show.
Yeah. The writer is the same writer as Ghost, which is the most universally disliked series in the Heisei era.
Oh, really? Universally? I didn't know
universally.
That. Makes sense.
The Neo Heisei, anyway.
Sure.
But and then I looked into some of the stuff in Ghost. Not only did people not like his writing, he kept on disappearing. Like, he kept on leaving to work on other projects.
Oh no!
So a lot during the construction era. So a lot of those episodes that didn't make sense were because people were filling in the gaps while he was gone, and then he'd come back and completely contradict stuff they'd said.
Oh god! Is this why we had like him die and come back and die and come back?
One of the reasons, yes. Now, part of that's also like the executive side. There was a lot of executive meddling, and the budget for Ghost got fucking slashed because of Amazon's.
And Amazon's was such a good show, so I can see why they'd do that.
But Mugen was made like barely in time.
Oof.
To actually end up.
Woof.
So I'm definitely getting a vibe this was written by the guy who wrote Ghost. I don't want to come out of this because I could be next episode and like, this is amazing, but
that'd be amazing if it was.
To be blunt, also the head producer has never been a head producer on Rider before, right?
Well, see, been a head producer on before.
She has been a head producer on several Sentai series.
Ah, well, okay.
And I am really wondering if her or someone else has made this mandate of make it more harmonious to Sentai.
No.
Because it's not like you can't do a fairy tale series for Kamen Rider. They've done it before, and in fact, it works so well they won't stop making it. I don't know. I don't want to be overtly negative. The fight scenes are fairly decent. They're nothing special, but they're fairly decent so far. But I'm getting, to be blunt, I'm getting that thing I often get with Sentai, which is I'll watch a few episodes and kind of go like, okay,
yeah,
can I go now? But I'll hold out longer because this is Rider. To be blunt, I'm gonna keep going. See if it's the fact that I'm clearly not the only one seeing the Sentai vibe. Also, I saw someone get really mad and say like, I wish people would stop comparing this to Sentai in a negative way, and say like the point isn't whether or not Sentai is good. The point is Sentai and Rider feel very different.
Oh, they should feel different because they're for two very different audiences.
and the nature of it, like people of any age group watch one because they like these elements, and they watch the other because they like these elements.
Mm-hmm.
And even every writer show has felt like a writer show. Every single one.
Yeah.
And like as you said, Forza is the most out there, and even that still feels like a writer show.
Yeah.
It feels like a writer show written by a teenager, but
goddamn Mikey.
But but this, I don't know. Like, if I had more of a sense of who these people were by now, because again, by writer standards, these are very undeveloped characters for the stage.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, and I don't like the fact it feels way more stock footagey. I didn't like that about Ghost, and I don't like the intro.
Yeah, you see when I said they won't have that cool intro we had, and you said no, they do. I was like, okay, and now you tell me they don't, and I'm like, I fucking told you. I told you.
Yeah, because apparently they had opening music called "Change the World."
Yeah, by a Man on a Mission who that was really marketed. Good.
Yeah, that was very writery. A really good, solid, like, okay, this works for writer. And instead, they've got a very Sentai style opening.
Yeah. To be fair, the Sentai style opening is appropriate for the show, because I'm sure both when you and I heard the music for this show, it's got hype to it. You go, oh shit! You can hear where the beat drops are. Like for when he goes henshin, there are parts in that song which are perfect for him, like pulling the sword out and doing a transformation sequence. Perfect for it from an editing perspective. And you go, oh, this is for some really epic music for him talking about, this is a promise I cannot break. I'm going to put my life on the line to keep this promise, because that seems to be his saying. Or this is the monogatari that I'm writing for myself. But if we're going with just Sentai stuff, or the Sentai song, it won't have the same oomph.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Change of the World is going to be an insert song now, but it was marketed, and it was definitely marketed as the opening.
Yeah, it's weird that they just switched it out.
But then I have a feeling they've refilmed a lot of the original stuff.
Oh man, that would be a bummer.
The trailer for the original trailer, none of those scenes are in the show.
That's true. Because he was meant to, like, there was the shot in the trailer where he stands up and he's got the fire in front of him, and I don't think they did that shot, or at least it was in a different location.
They refilmed it. It's not the same.
Yeah,
because it's like, because he's going where he's reaching for the sword. But I would, maybe this will come out in production at some point, but I wouldn't be shocked if it turned out that the show was developing in one way and then was changed, either because of COVID or something. Was changed like midway through mid-production, like where they'd started doing promo stuff and maybe filmed a bit of stuff, and then someone said, nope, we're redoing this. I mean, I don't know. Like,
maybe an oof.
I don't know.
Maybe an oof.
Maybe an oof. Maybe it'll be great.
Maybe,
but the writer, when he came back, I was just like, why would you ever rehire him? Like I know the toys sold fairly well, but the show, like, even people in Japan didn't like him. Like, he's not many people's favorite writer, apart from that, a couple of, like, very young children.
Yeah,
and even they moved on from everything I was reading.
That's
because the show that followed up this was X8, and like children loved that show
because it was fucking
because
good,
children,
yo.
Yeah, because children were just like, they know fucking quality.
Yeah, and it was on video games, so the premise of it also is pretty relatable to kids who love video games.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I know I sound very negative, but we'll see.
Yeah, because we are still only two episodes into it, so
and
it might get better.
We have had plenty of writer shows with bad starts.
Exactly, or with very Gaim, really great show, very different start to its end.
Yes, very
different.
Or Blade, as I push out all the time.
Oh yeah, Blade.
Blade's got different animal.
Blade's got a really rough intro. Really rough.
Like, whatever they were going for, it was very strange. Anyway, Andy, what were you up to this week?
Like you, I said I watched ReZero, and I watched Kamen Rider Saber. That kind of covered most of my thoughts on that.
This mean you finished 01, or are you still not finished 01?
No, I haven't finished 01. The reason I did Saber was because last week you said you would be interested to hear my opinions on this first episode.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, well, since Mikey's asked me, I may as well do that for him. Good requests and whatnot. And yeah, I too, like I said, feel the Sentai vibes. don't feel a lot of character in the one episode. Like, not even less so than Aruto. Like, at least with him, the only thing I feel from this character, from Saber, is he's a novelist who also runs a bookstore and wants to tell stories to kids. But that's about it. That's about it. Okay.
That's as far as we've really gotten in episode 2, if I'm honest.
Oh no! It might get better. It might get better. Who knows?
It might get better.
Yeah. I saw my buddy Matt this week, so that was fun. I got to hang out and have some fun times. Watching some trashy TV. I got a sound mixing thing called Voice Meter Banana, which I've been trying to use at the moment. So that's been a bit of a learning thing, which I've been doing over the past day and a bit. Hopefully it's okay. But it's a matter of like learning what button does what and how to make sure that I don't mess up the sound by accident in some way, because that would be a mess. Like you, I only watched one of the new Hollow Girls, the Hollow Live people, and that was because the Shock Girl came out and I was around for it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a watch. Not much happens during those intro streams, to be fair, but you know, it's an intro stream, so what can you do? And what else? Yeah, I'll be interested to see how they develop as Hollow Life people, and whether, because they'll be like, if they keep in character, am I gonna feel it's more of a character than obviously not understanding the language?
I don't know. Like, I think, to be honest, because I was looking at the 5th gen stuff, and they've already changed a lot.
Yeah. Well, how long have they been out now? A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
The 5th gen, they're about a month and a half. No, nearly 2 month and a half now, I think.
Really, that long? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but because remember, at the moment, what you're seeing is the product.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. And it feels like that.
You're seeing the archetype of. You're seeing a bit of the personality coming across, but you're seeing the creation.
Yeah.
And like I said, the interesting thing about HoloLive is that they just. I think the very nature of what they're doing combine both the fact that they work very long hours, and they also have an anonymity that that other people don't have.
Well, you say that, but there are people who are going out their way to kind of find out who people are, which is kind of lame, unfortunately. But that's the internet.
Yes. Yes, but in general,
yeah, for the most part,
99% of people don't have a clue.
Yeah. And
are pretty happy to leave it that way.
Yes. Yeah.
And 1% are creepy freaks. But they're a problem in any field. But and they basically ending up more normal in their own way. They're just normal crazy.
Yeah, they settle into it, I guess.
Like, because I was reading something like, and they're in character and everyone in character, and it's like, if you look back at the early stuff, very much so. And then, like, if you look back at Matsuru's, I think is a very interesting example. Because she was very much in a character at first when I saw some of the older clips.
She wasn't the red face screaming for Fubuki as she became.
No, she wasn't sitting there saying, "Let me drink your pee."
Yeah.
She is a joy, by the way. Like she seems like a real sweetheart. But
I don't know if you know, but at the moment she's doing shark movies. She's watching shark movies.
Yes, I saw her watch a ghost shark.
Yes, I saw that with Luna.
Which is basically, I love this. And Luna just going like, sharks can't do any of this.
Yeah, this was weird. This was a weird movie. And now we have a Shark Girl HoloLive person, so I wonder how that's going to turn out.
Who's small.
Very, very, very small. The smallest.
That's a dangerous collaboration. But the person came out, and then I saw one with her mother, and her mother's as bad as her.
Oh, Matsuru's mom.
Yeah, one she sounds about 5.
Oh, that's weird.
But two, she started when I was talking to someone over text, and we were just talking about which boys we'd like to eat, and it's like, it was a mix-up, and we're just like, was it really? Like, she didn't get it out of thin air, lady. But
no, that's true.
So with this kind of stuff, this is the interesting thing about this VTuber thing for me is the psychological thing, because it just seems that people end up being more natural because Again, like, I'm not
really,
saying,
I suppose, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not saying like, oh, they're not putting something forward, or you think people can be more honest, because regardless of any medium, like we said in the podcast before, like we put forward aspects of ourselves. These are not the whole book.
Yeah.
And very purposely not so. Like, you know, you can't come away from listening to someone on the radio and think you know them as your best friend. Like, maybe they're.
But it's weird because you get that feeling anyway. You in the back of your head, you tell yourself you don't know them, but because you spend, well, depending on how much time you watch or listen to someone, you do feel that you do have this relationship, even though in your mind you're like, I don't actually know them, but I feel like I do. Yeah. It's bizarre. It's fascinating.
Yeah, but the thing about the Hololive ones, I think you're seeing very honest aspects of their personality.
Yeah, I hope so.
And not and it doesn't feel constructed because they keep getting banned for this kind of stuff and keep getting told off by their bosses.
That's also YouTube being YouTube.
Yes, but
then there are also people like Hachima who does lewd reviews of drawings of herself.
Yes. Or like, what was it, on one of Coca's during my 3D live, they had to disable my middle finger because in practice I wouldn't stop. so the moments if you watch it where she's trying to do a middle finger and like the hand just won't move. And it's just like, oh god.
You can just imagine the tech guy's just hands in the head just shaking. Please stop. Please
like
stop flipping people off.
She said she wanted to do a collab with an English VTube sex worker.
Oh, you Project Melody, you mean?
Yeah. And she got told you're not allowed to talk about her anymore.
Yes, which makes sense. I mean, Project Melody's on Twitter as well, doing the non-lewd stuff, but she's on Chatterbait as well, doing lewd stuff. And the non-lewd stuff's quite interesting. She's quite fun.
Yeah, I actually, when I heard the name, because like basically like now I've been curious about the English stuff now, so I was looking, like she just came up as one, and I watched some of her Twitch stuff for a game called Amongst Us.
Among Us. Oh, where she played with Noble and Iron Mouse and Silvervale and Bunny, and that was really good.
And she was so bad at it. But
yeah, bless her.
But she's got a good vibe to her.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
So, and before anyone goes, no, this is not us being horny old men. Please, like, don't be an idiot. But like, I am just going to don't be an idiot about these kind of things, guys. But it's just, I don't know, interesting to me the way this medium has created this whole like subgenre that's been running under the stream for a few years now, and we never had really a clue of it. And then you dive into it; it's a really interesting concept.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and also there's a really large number of sex workers who work on Twitch as well doing video games.
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah, and to be honest, earn your money how you earn your money. Yeah. But small shark. That's basically my big takeaway.
Small, very small. It's interesting as well because Hololive seems to be exclusively based on YouTube rather than on Twitch. It seems like that's their home for whatever reason. What's that?
Except in China, where I think they're berry.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because YouTube restrictions in China.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so they've got a workaround, but for the most part, it's just YouTube for most people, I assume, then at that point. So apart from doing that, and I'll probably, it won't be surprising if I do more of that because it's just easy to flick on while I'm obviously working around the house and doing.
And we can actually understand what they're fucking saying.
Yeah, exactly. Though I think, to be fair, you'll still need to kind of focus and listen to some of them because some of them obviously have stronger accents than others.
Yes, and drop in and out of different languages.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still good. It's nice for them to expand. It shows the company is doing very well, and I think they're doing very well.
And if you want to hear a rap that's actually halfway decent for people who don't like rap, Calliope. Just search Hololive Calliope song. I don't something about please die for me or will you please R.I.P. I think it's called.
Yeah. I think to myself, yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. I'm good. Yeah. Sign me up.
Hololive Andy.
Hololive Andy. We're coming. So what else did I do? I started Twitch myself. So I've got something I can do which is somewhat creative, I suppose. I've only done 2 streams so far. I might do one tonight. I did one on Friday where I did some EDF, so it was my first one, so it was a bit on the ropey side. trying to get the sound all sorted out and whatnot. And then on Friday, no, I did that on Thursday. On Friday, I did another one where the game it wasn't captured, so I had to do some workarounds. So again, it was a bit on the ropey side. It's a lot of learning experience, and it's quite hard to do 3 things at once, which is play the game, pay attention to chat, and also just talk about things in general, and try and make it an interesting conversation. It's quite hard to multitask all those 3 things at once for someone who's trying to do it all. And obviously, I'm used to talking, but not used to talking and playing the game, and also reading a chat as well at the same time. So it's interesting. It's interesting to go around and fiddle with and whatnot.
Yes, I was lurking for those, by the way.
Oh no! Oh yeah, my god!
So I didn't jump into chat or anything, but I was lurking.
That's fair. Well, with your broken hand, I imagine it would be hard for you to do things.
It's weird how my name keeps coming up for insults.
Only once. Only did the first stream.
And
only because you've made bad life choices by not liking Starship Troopers.
Movie, Andy. It's a shitty movie.
No one else thinks so.
You know what? Transformers made billions of dollars in the cinema. Do I trust what the masses think?
No.
Yeah.
But Starship Troopers is great. Boom. And to be fair, the only other thing that I mentioned about you was you were the expert on ruining animals for people, and you can't tell me that that's not true.
Oh, I do that for fun. Just
exactly.
Name an animal.
So
name an animal.
Red panda.
Red pandas have really nasty scat.
No, really?
Yeah. Really
is it because it must be because of the diet, right?
Yeah, and they also rub it off people for scent things. They rub off things for scent.
Okay.
So, like, if a person gets near them, it's basically kind of like a skunk backing up on top of you.
Oh, no. That's a shame because they're so painfully cute.
They are nasty if you're a baby bird.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm not surprised about that.
They are ravenous. So, yeah. So
they're so cute. And then you just see devour a baby bird.
But, like, I can ruin armadillos for people.
Oh, yeah, I was actually really surprised when it showed, like, because it's a vulture, scavenger species, is it?
Armadillos, everyone marks off as insectivores. And they're like, oh, and they're very cute. I love armadillos.
Yeah, very cute, yeah.
But it turns out a lot of armadillos are not obligate insectivores. They are what we call facultative, which means that, yes, they like to eat insects, but that's not all they eat.
Okay.
And they're not necessarily just scavengers. Whereby farmers, in this case, because it ended with the farmer crushing the armadillos with their boots. But,
oh, God.
But they came up and found an armadillo that had crippled a lamb by the back of the neck and was trying to drag it into a wood. This little paralyzed lamb. Wow. And another one where a calf was like lying on the ground. It was still alive, and an armadillo was trying to claw at its belly and trying to bite through. And apparently the farmer said he'd found 3 or 4 calves in the last couple of weeks that had their entrails removed.
Damn, son.
So this little cute armadillo.
Yeah.
And put a little pecco sound effect over. But, so yeah, I can ruin anything. If it's got 4 legs, 2 legs, wings, whatever, I can make it worse.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
I was watching some baby seal videos a few days ago as well, last week. I was like, oh, aren't these cute? And then I thought, there's probably something wrong with them, because there's something wrong with everything.
Feel my presence behind you. I could tell you.
There was just a shadow coming behind my couch, just like a little head appearing, going, hey, Andy. I'm like, nah.
I mean, I could tell you.
You can't, I mean, it doesn't bother me, because I still think baby seals are cute.
Oh, they're very cute, but seals are very rapey.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Well, they're a mammal. From what you've told me, most mammals are.
They're rapey necrophilia, seals, in particular.
Well, to be fair, it's easier, isn't it?
Unfortunately, a lot of baby seal corpses do not go undisturbed.
Wow, I'm surprised. I would have thought, depending what the main predator is for the seal of the area, I would have thought they would have just gobbled them up. Like, I know baby seals get trapped on the ice sheet, and polar bears are just like, well, here's a free dinner for me.
Yeah, but the difference is a polar bear is not going to look at a seal and go, hey, baby.
Never say never.
What if you were dead?
Never say never.
They're too big. It doesn't work. It's not physically possible. Unless it's like an adult seal, and it's just like, you'd have to roll it over.
Is it like that picture of the hamster with the banana going into its mouth?
There has been weird reports of polar bears waiting next to baby seal corpses.
Okay.
for adults.
What? So the seals are like, hey, there's a dead corpse I can have sex with, and the polar bear's like, hey, another free seal.
No, basically, what we had here was appetizer, main course.
Okay, yeah. Horny main course.
Yeah, and like, don't matter how horny you are, none of the seals, like, unless you're all fucking walrus, if a polar bear decides to eat you on land, bye-bye.
You're done. Yeah.
Like, a walrus, that is a different story, but...
bad thing came into my mind, Mikey. Yeah? Dead baby seal. Another seal sees it in the distance. I'm horny. Horny. And you're just sitting there
sitting next to this. Please clip this.
Oh no.
Oh god. Oh man. So nature, it's fun.
Yep. Never forget that nature is terrible. And although zoos are not the best place, the animals are a lot happier there than there are out in the
because
wild.
If someone finds like an otter kidnapping a child and holding it for ransom in a zoo, they'll take the baby off it and give it back to its mother.
Yeah, exactly.
They won't because that happens, by the way.
Well,
that's a real thing.
Otters steal babies.
Sea otters will kidnap babies off their mothers and only return them if the mother brings them clams.
Like, when you say babies, you mean human babies?
No, no. Maybe they try it with humans if they thought humans would give them clams. I don't know, but breaks into your house at night, takes the child, and leaves a little note. Clams or Timmy gets it.
That's why I was quite impressed, because I was like, to do that in a zoo in confinement, that's pretty boss for an otter to do. That's a dedicated otter.
But the thing is, sea otters are fucking huge. They're monsters of things. People don't realize it. They're very, very big. So they're very heavy. So they were like, it wouldn't really be out the realms of possibility for them to make off with a child.
So they can work up to it.
Or an adult, really.
Yeah.
They drop him, and as he's like floating back to the surface, a sea lion appears behind him.
Hey, baby.
You look like you could do it more.
Well, I think that'll do it for our show this week, Mr. Mikey. It's a good place to end it.
I should write a book. Someone wrote a book about the sex habits of animals. I need to write a book like Animals Are Terrible, and here's why.
To be honest, I think that would not be a terrible book to have, because it would be interesting. And if you phrased it as like not a joke book, but as like one of those funny factual books, I think people would be interested in it.
Not as romantic as you think.
Yeah. I bet if you wrote that book, people would buy it.
Maybe. I've been wanting to do a book for a while. I'm just trying to find a topic.
There's
in all seriousness.
But check to make sure there isn't a topic like that already, but I can't imagine.
I can write the children's version.
Oh boy.
Now, do you know how to tell a female and a male hyena apart? I bet you don't.
Let me tell you,
Let me tell you, children, about the clitoris.
Mikey, where can people find you on the internet if you want them to?
Why would you want to after that? But I'm over on Twitter and Irish Paleo, and of course you can send us messages and such over on the Gmail and on the Facebook and on the Libsyn and on the iTunes and presumably on Spotify as well. I don't know. And anywhere you can find the wonderful world of us.
Yay!
Any comments this week, Andy? By the way,
comments.
I don't.
Let me have a look, because I'm not sure quite offhand. Come on, Facebook page. I love how slow this goes. And I love the fact that they reworked it so it's set up like Twitter now, not like it used to be. That's
Which
fun.
makes it harder to use.
Let's go to the inbox. I wish this was a cleaner system. I really do. Notifications. We actually did. There is a trailer, Mikey, for Minecraft Jurassic World, if you didn't know.
Yes, cause, I've seen a few playthroughs.
Yeah, Christoph Carlson sent us a thing, because he mentioned about starting Minecraft, or being interested, and I think he was trying to hook you with some pixely, some square dinosaurs.
Well, games ain't going to do much at the moment, mate.
No, you can...
I am...
The best you can do is watch, unfortunately.
I am sans game.
Actually, there are games you could play, but they'd have to be turn-based ones. That would be it.
Yeah, or like even then, really hard, because
it'd be rough.
Your hand, it's like they're ones where you have to have like pause time in it and something like that, because you couldn't do ATVs.
No, it's true. It's true. Also, Christoph said, what I said about the Owl House got me thinking over why I felt that way, but after watching in brackets, positive review that called it an isekai power fantasy, it all clicked. That's the point of lulls in brackets, almost. Always getting her way, and I'm just being old and grumpy. Old jealous grump. That and I've been damaged by animes that turns rescue missions into whole seasons instead of doing them in a single episode, which is true. A lot of animes do that, to be fair.
Yes. I think One Piece is like two arcs that do that.
Naruto did an entire show about that.
Oh, Bleach.
You could say.
Fucking Bleach.
Yeah.
How long did Bleach have that rescue arc? 4 years?
Which one?
5 years? The big one.
For Orihime.
Yeah. To the point where everyone forgot who Orihime was because it had taken so fucking long.
To be fair as well, they jammed in like 3 or 4 filler arcs in as well, which didn't help the goddamn pacing.
That went on for so long they had to do filler.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, she never mattered until they got married at the end for some fucking reason.
People wonder why, shonen is not for me. It's because these were the shows that killed it for me.
Yeah, we were in the heyday of shonen, i.e., when no one was being clever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least today, I see a bit more intelligence behind it, but
yeah, I'm sure with like if we hadn't seen like Bleach and Naruto and stuff, I'd be a lot more accepting of things like My Hero and stuff like that.
Yeah, like because My Hero is much better written than Naruto was.
Certainly, and it's way faster. It gets to the point faster.
Yeah, but it's still stuck in those ruts.
Yes. Aye. So you said where you can find you. I'll tell you where you can find me. You can find me on Twitter, CCTFW, YouTube as Cobra Commander TFW. You can find this podcast on the Moonbase 2 forums. We're on Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. We're also on the ccbunker.weebly.com. And you can head over to patreon.com/Moonbase2. And if you do $2 each month, you get the extended version of From the Files of Teletron 2. You also get it a week early. Extra shows come out on there as well. And you also get the Moonbase Woo Woo, where we talk about non-transformery things in more detail. And Mikey has something for this month as well, which is nice. Don't you?
Yes, hopefully should be recorded tomorrow, all things going well.
Very good.
They haven't gotten back to me, so who knows?
Oh, no. Actually, are you having to stay up late to do
Fail me. Hopefully not.
Okay.
Yeah, no, just confirmed. Yeah, we're fine.
Hey, very good. Nice. Nice-oo. So. Nice. And if you want to catch me on Twitch, you can head over to twitch.com and just type in CCTFW and I'll probably pop up. I don't have much yet, but, I'll be slowly building up some videos that you can either rewatch or watch me live. I'm trying to, or will be trying to get most days, maybe 2 to 3 hours, depending how I feel each day, from 11 o'clock in the evening UK time to about 1 or 2 o'clock UK time. Oh, that's something else I did. I've been watching more Next Gen. Next Gen's really fun, Mikey.
No, it's not.
Next Gen's really good.
Can't be, Picard.
The last episode I watched was the episode... Actually, it was the first episode with Gowron.
There's my boy.
It's the first episode. It was where Kempek dies because he gets poisoned by someone, but they never find out who did it because Wolf kills Daduras.
Oh, Daduras.
Didn't it come out later that we found out that it was Gowron that poisoned Kempek, or did we never find out the resolution to that? I can't remember.
I don't remember because for the rest of Next Gen, Gowron's essentially an ally.
Yeah.
So it's not until Deep Space Nine that they do the heel face turn on him, or the face heel turn, or whatever you fucking call it.
I wouldn't have been shocked though if Gowron did it.
Oh no, but I would be because Gowron, it plays things straight up until Martok. Gowron plays things straight. But even then, he still plays things by the Klingon rules.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to poison someone. He's going to put it in a situation where they get themselves stabbed and can die honorably.
I just wondered because...
Or they dishonor themselves.
They lent too heavily on Duras doing the poisoning. That's why I always felt that it could have been Gowron who did it, because it was just like, Duras is a traitor. He's the son of a trader. He hates Worf. He's a piece of shit. No one likes him. And then there's Gowron, who you don't know. And it's like, it would kind of, from a writing sense, I think it would have been more obvious to point that at Gowron, but also have Duras try to assassinate Kempek as well.
Wasn't one of the points of Gowron, though, that he's supposed to... Like, ultimately, the point is that he's no better than anyone else, which is why they bring in the whole idea of returning honor to the Empire, both in TNG and DS9. But he is supposed to be more of a traditional Klingon than Kempek.
Yeah. Yeah, Kempek was just barely holding the Empire together, it seemed. And he was happy to live under a lie.
Let me just see.
And it was also, unfortunately, it's a good episode because Gowron's introduced, but do you know why it's a bad episode, Mikey?
Why is it a bad episode, Andy?
Because it's the first introduction of Alexander. And boy, that kid was, bless him, no offense to him, he was not a good actor, and he was I would say, hear me out here, I would say Alexander more annoying than Wesley.
That's fair, but they also don't make Alexander important.
That is also fair. He's in less episodes, but I find that Wesley has more things that are good about him than Alexander, because Alexander just always comes across as a whiny kid because he is. He won't do what his dad say. Then they bring him in DS9 and he's... I don't want to be a warrior, Dad. DS9, I want to be a warrior. It's like, God fucking damn it. Alexander Roshenko, what the fuck's wrong with you? Shit.
It was never revealed exactly who had poisoned Kempek, but Ronald D. Moore stated our intention was that Joris had poisoned him.
Okay, well, fair enough then.
And it was also of interest that Gowron, who replaced him, you could read it as Gowron, but as far as Ronald Moore was like, it's Joris, which again kind of plays into the idea that Gowron's supposed to be a step in the right direction, which he wasn't.
Yeah, well, he was compared to Duras.
No.
I would have been bad if Duras had gotten control.
You could put me in charge and that would be a step in the right direction compared to Duras.
No, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked it at some point, because like him in control meant the Duras sisters were in control.
Listen, Beto. Well, no, they wouldn't have been in control because they didn't appear until he died. So, yeah. Right, well, that's the podcast for this week. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening. And until next week, everybody, we will catch you for, maybe some more Star Trek Next Gen stuff. But, yeah, definitely some Transformers stuff. Catch you later, peoples.